Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life, the podcast. You're listening to Author's Corner, where we highlight and showcase our local authors. Today, I am speaking to Ken Rohlf, author of Christmas Sun. And Ken and I are going to be talking on the topic 5 ways to ease the pain of going through your your first holiday season after the loss of a loved one. As we're coming up to the holidays, it's usually the most difficult times for whether it's a loss by death or maybe, newly divorced couples or something. But yeah, the holidays are one of those times where it brings those emotions to the forefront. So, Ken has got a really nice book that he's written, and it's to help children as well as adults try to get through the loss. So welcome, Ken.
Thank you, Myrna. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. All right. So let me give you a brief introduction. The loss of his wife after a battle with pancreatic cancer, combined with the arrival of Ken's first grandchild. And this inspired Ken to write Christmas Sun. Relying upon his personal experience with grief and loss, Ken wrote Christmas Sun to promote his mission of keeping the memory of a loved one alive. Written as a children's book, but meaningful for the whole family, Christmas Sun serves as a guide to explaining the loss of someone that has passed, while offering a beautiful tradition to ensure their memory lives on. Amazing. So, Ken, a little bit of your story. How long ago did your wife pass, and how did you deal with the first Christmas without her?
Yeah, so it has been a little, it will be 6 years that she will have passed. She passed away actually on Christmas Day.
You're
And
kidding.
so I am not kidding you. Yeah. And so our real first Christmas without her was the anniversary of that, the first year after, right? Unfortunately, we were in hospice care on Christmas, the day that she passed. So, um, you know, I guess we can kind of get into the 5 things a little bit on, what did we do? I think, first and foremost, let me just say that I'm not a healthcare professional, nor am I a grief counselor. What what I'm going to present your audience is kind of research that I've done and experts in the field as well as my own personal experience. And so, just want to make sure we're clear on that. But what we did, we got our family together and we had a meeting on what we wanted that first Christmas to look like. In our particular case, we have kind of a larger family. We rotate who hosts Christmas, between me and my two sisters. It was happened to be our year to host, and as a family, we decided that we would go forward with that, and so we went forward in our situation, doing what we always have done. Um, and let me amplify on that a little bit. Since then, we have changed things up, and so we now, due to my wife actually passing on Christmas Day, we get together as our nuclear family, our small family, my kids and whatnot. We kind of escape and go to the cabin a couple of weeks ahead of Christmas so that we can have maybe a more joyous celebration because Christmas Day for us is a little bit melancholy.
Wow. 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 I can't even finish with the wows because, yeah, my goodness. So I'm feeling for you. I'm almost speechless because normally, yeah, Christmas is the time where you get those special feelings,
Yeah.
because as a kid, you get those special feeling, it's excitement. Now it is melancholy. Oh, wow. Yes. So, okay. Well, as you were speaking, I was remembering, I was interviewing a guest one day, and she said that she and her husband was on the way to pick up her son at the airport for his 18th birthday. And her husband decided before he went to the airport to take a swim in the lake, something he's done every day. But this particular day, he drowned. And
Mm.
he actually drowned on his son's birthday. And she's saying that that was such a horrible thing because now this kid would never have a birthday again. So yeah, it's you know, we can't plan these things, but our heart goes out to you, and well, you have turned something negative into something positive with your book, and you call it Christmas Sun. So that is amazing. That is beautiful. Um, so if you were to help someone along the way that, maybe you weren't as brutal as yours of being having a spouse that passed along on a Christmas day of itself, but they're alone because they don't have their significant others. Maybe you can run through 5 quick things, that they can do to help them along.
Yeah. I think first thing is that everybody wants a cookie cutter solution, but we're not cookies. So, there's no one way to grieve, kind of understand that. And that's particularly true around the holidays. Grief is not a linear path that follows step A, step B, step C. And it might come and go for each person in your family. It might, different parts of the grief process might occur at different points. So just recognize that. I think that's one thing. Part 2 then I think is that, it's kinda like put on your oxygen mask, like when we get on an airplane, it's that old saying, "Take care of yourself before you take care of others." So and I think we all know what that means, staying hydrated, getting enough sleep, exercise, all those sorts of things. But make sure you kinda try to stay at your best so that you can serve those around you to your, to your best. Um, Point 3, I think I talked about a little bit, and that is kinda having the family meeting, let everybody, share what they want, uh, your daughter may say, "I wanna decorate the house just like mom always did," and your son might say, "I don't wanna do the lasagna dinner like mom did, that would make me too sad." And so just kinda hear everybody out and then, try to recognize what's in their heart and what they want to, accomplish with the holidays. And then, kinda come up with your plan. But one thing I will say, and I think this is an important part, is don't let other people determine how you should be feeling or what you should be doing or what you should not be doing. I think that's a decision that is unique to each person, to each family. Uh, so you gather your best information, you make the best decision at that time that you might have, and then give yourself grace to, think about that or look at that after the holidays end to say, well, is what we decided to do the right thing to do, or should we change that? And like I mentioned, we did have this celebration we celebrate Christmas Eve with our big family in that first year, but then we've since changed that, and we find that that's a better. And lastly, I think, it's important and maybe it plays into the book a little bit, and that is to find ways to remember and honor your special person. Um, and I think that the book, which I'm sure we'll get into, uh, serves as a prompt for you to do that. So I think it's important that we continue to tell story about people we've lost and whatnot. I heard a great quote and it really hit me, and that is that we all die twice. We die once when our physical body stops working. And we die the second time when our name is mentioned for the last time. And I think that's what the book is designed for, and that is to help us not forget about people that we've lost.
Wow, that's beautiful. Well, the immediate family never really forgets you. Like you always remember your wife, and the kids will always remember their mom.
Yes.
But yeah, when they're talking about, leaving a legacy, maybe they're talking about that's why they said, it's really interesting that you should say that. But I was listening to something the other day, and they said that when you right, yeah, actually it was a conference on the weekend, and the guy was talking about how his father died, and he said, everything when his father died, everything that he had was still in the room, right? You can't take any of it with you. But he said, you know what you can do? You can leave the memories and the legacy. He remembers playing golf with his dad. He remembers all the things that his dad, taught him. His dad couldn't take anything, the physical things with him, but he can leave. But yeah, so that's a beautiful thing that you said, how do you remember? So it's great that you were inspired to write a book for as a children's book, maybe to help your kids, remember their grandma. So maybe we can talk about that now. How is it, how can people keep the memory of loved ones alive and tell the kids about grandma or grandpa?
Yeah, I mean, in our particular case, my wife had been gone for 5 years, and my daughter and her husband came over and announced that they were having our first family grandchild. So, we obviously were all thrilled for them. We were having a new baby in our family, but, um, when they left, I became, pretty emotional that my wife would have been a great grandmother, by the way, who wouldn't be there for our grandchildren. And so it just struck me that we were not the only ones in that situation. And I just felt, this wasn't a commercial endeavor at all. This was kind of just I felt that it was me writing for my grandson. And, uh, and so I thought it was important that we let him know. There'll be others, I hope, but let him know that he had a grandma, who she was, a little bit about her in the book, and to make sure that we recognized that and kept her memory alive.
Oh, it's beautiful. I see that, it's bringing back memories of your wife, and what she's missing. So, you know, in my family, we would tell stories. Is there a better way to do it? I mean, in your book, what do you focus on? Do you focus on, like stories that your wife would do, or did you focus on who she was? What did you focus on?
Yeah, I think that, I guess, primarily what I focused on is just some attributes that she had. So it's a polar bear family, and Grandpa polar bear and mother polar bear explain about grandma bear. And the one message is that I think my wife always uh, she had a great knack of always asking questions of others when she was with them, and that had this beautiful memory to remember what you told her. And so that the next time that she saw you, she would say, "Oh, how's your son who went off to college? How's he doing? And how's your new job?" Whatever it was. And so try to bring that message alive is always to kind of, you know, worry more about others and how they're feeling and care for them, and other types of attributes of just being a good person. And then, of course, in the story, we Grandma Bear leaves behind an ornament along with a letter that's kind of a touching letter for Little Bear. And so the mother bear reads the story or the letter that grandma left behind. And at the end, grandma asked her to place the ornament on the tree as they decorate for Christmas in her memory. So that's that's where the story goes. And yeah, it's been well received. I'm very honored and thrilled to help anyone who I can that goes through this and reading it. I think it applies for not just children, but all of us. We all experience. I have that experience, unfortunately.
Yeah. So where did you come up with the polar bear idea? 'Cause that's unique. I know you didn't have any polar bears.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, well, I mean, I knew it had to be, you know, I wanted it to be something that was not just, human beings talking to children. And so you think in terms of visuals and things that they would enjoy. And that's kind of how I arrived at polar bears. They're cute and fluffy and lovable.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. It's very good, right? It would definitely get their attention. I like that. So it sounds like in the story you had Grandma Bear die to kind of let the kids understand that about debt. Is that why you introduced that?
Yeah, so it kind of starts off that grandpa is coming over for Christmas Eve, and him and the little bear do a bunch of fun stuff, and then little bear gets cold, and he says, "Well, let's go in and bake some cookies." And then Grandpa Bear says, "Oh, only one problem. I don't know how to bake cookies. We could really use your grandma's help right now." And little bear said, "Grandma? What? Who is grandma?" And then he begins to tell the story of who grandma is, and
Oh, that's beautiful.
yeah.
That's why it's been well received. That is very creative. And that is perfect too, because yeah, when you're in the kitchen cooking, usually it's grandma that or mom, Same here. That's beautiful because the cooking is where you normally miss the grandma or the mom.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. I mean,
Great.
so yeah, that's the story, and then the mother comes into the kitchen as well, and then, kinda says, "What are you guys talking about?" And then, the little bear says, "Well, grandpa just told me about grandma. Did you know her?" And she goes, "Of course I know her. She was my mother." And then they kinda carry it through the stories.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
That is beautiful.
thank you.
I can see why I can actually see this taken on and people kind of adopting this same kind of format to tell to tell their grandkids about grandma and grandpa because a lot of them don't know grandma or grandpa, you know? They don't have that experience. So that is beautiful. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, that is actually beautiful. Um So why did you decided to write the book? What was the inspiration? All right, you wanted to I shouldn't talk for you. So what made you I know that your grandson was going to be born and you recognized that your wife was not going to be there, but what was the bridge between that thought and creating the book?
Well, I love to write.
Okay.
My day job is I'm an attorney by trade, and so I've written a lot in my job, and so and I love to be creative and those sorts of things. So it just kind of all came together. It's interesting that once I kind of generally mapped out the story, I think it probably was written in 2 nights. It just kinda came out of my heart, and, you know, we've, edited it and all that since then, but the heart of the story came out in 2 nights. So,
Beautiful.
yeah.
That's called inspiration. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, yeah, so you wrote it and the full name of the book is called Christmas Sun: A Beautiful Tradition to Remember Grandma. That is beautiful. All right. So obviously it's if you're talking about polar bears, it's illustrated with lots of pictures and beautiful things. Right. Okay.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. All right. So tell us where, they can pick up a copy of the book. If you have like a website as well, and if you're on social media so that, people can connect with you. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
so, I have a website, and I'll spell it because my name is kind of odd, so it's Ken, Ken, Rolf, Roh, as in Henry, L as in Larry, F as in Frank, kenrolfbooks.com. So you can link to buying the book, through that. The book also offers, an ornament that is the ornament of the book, so you can find that on my website as well. You can also find it under Christmas Sun on Amazon, barnesandnoble.com, and, uh, social media, it's, just look up Ken Rolf, and, you should find me on that as well.
Wow, that's beautiful. I have a 2-year-old granddaughter, so I will pick up a copy of your book.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, I think,
Yeah.
you it's it impacts this situation impacts more people than we care to think about, if I can help, one family get through, that situation, that's terrific. My vision of this is it kind of becomes like a Christmas box, like it goes in with your ornaments. And then when you go to decorate for the holidays, you bring it up, maybe you read it, tell a story about your people, and then hang the ornament, that's
I
the
love it.
goal, that's the vision.
I love it. I love it. Yes, I love it. Yeah, because we have ornaments for the our marriage, and we have ornaments for, and we adopted some kids, so I understand the ornament sentimentality. So yeah, an ornament that represents, either grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, whoever you've lost. It's
Absolutely.
beautiful. And when it's on the tree, that's their memory. I love it.
And yeah, and then as you see that, day after day, it just bring their memory back to you. So that's the thought.
Well, Ken, my heart goes out to you for your loss, and my heart goes out to you that and your family that Christmas will never really be the same again because you'll have that memory of your wife dying on Christmas Day. But, you know, hopefully, when you keep the memory alive and you keep what she stood for, you just mentioned the beautiful thing that she always cared about others and always inquired about them and made a point to remember when she spoke to you the next time. And that's a beautiful thing. And you incorporate it into the story to, tell maybe kids or even adults that, having great characters and things that people can remember you by, that it's a good way to live. So
It is.
I love you. I love it. All right, guys. Well, listen, as we approach Christmas, I know that many of you have, lost loved ones. So this is a great tradition to, support Ken on his journey by picking up a copy of his book and, giving it to the little ones in your family. It's a great story and, help support him and his family and to get the word on, how you can remember your loved ones. So thank you, Ken, for sharing your story with us. Thank you for, your heart in wanting to help others um, during this time when you're going through and your family are going through at the same time. So yeah, so I will link out to the book which is called Christmas Sun, a beautiful tradition to remember grandma. But if you just type in Christmas Sun, it will come up. And I will also link out to Ken's website so you can, you can pick up the ornament to hang on your tree to represent your loved ones. So it's a
Thank you so
beautiful
much.
thing.
Thank you for having me today. I appreciate it. And happy holidays and thank you again.
You're very welcome. Yes, my heart goes out to you and your family, but I know that you will get through it. Okay. Yes. So happy holidays to you too. All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Author's Corner. We were highlighting and showcasing Ken Rohlf, author of Christmas Sun. So happy holidays to everyone and happy New Year. All right. And so thanks again, Ken, for coming on the show. Until next time, namaste.
Thank you.
You're welcome.